Once upon a time, there was a farmer called Antonio. Antonio lived on a small hill and he had a lot of land there. And what did he have on that land? He had a lot of goats. What do farmers do with goats? You know what they do? They milk the goats and out of that milk they make cheese. So Antonio's wife would go every morning, milk the goats. She would make cheese with it. And Antonio would go riding his horse to the town. He would sell the cheese and he would take home the money. So that is how life went on for Antonio and his wife. Not only did they have goats, what else could you find on a farm? He had hens, he had pigs, he had everything. Horses, cows. But he was only interested in the goats because the goats would fetch him ready money. So one day Antonio went to the market with a lot of cheese. And after selling the cheese, all the cheese got sold out that day. So he was very happy. He had lots of money with him. And as he was coming back home, he crossed a small narrow road. And there he saw one of his goat. It had come wandering down the hills. And one boy was walking along with it. So Antonio stopped his horse and said, "Hey, Carlotta, what are you doing here?" "Carlotta!" And the goat just didn't respond. Then this boy said, oh sir, I'll go and take her back right away. You don't worry, I'll go and leave her back in your farm." And who was this little boy who replied to Antonio? His name was Juanita. And Juanita had a small sister. She was small and she was lying in the cradle. But she wouldn't laugh or smile. Do you know why? Because she had no energy left in her. She did not have enough food. Children babies need milk. She didn't have milk to drink. So she was getting weaker and weaker and weaker by the day. And her mama told Juanita, "Hey, only if she gets some milk, we can make her smile again." So what Juanita had done, he had gone up that hill. He had given some corns to the goats. And this goat started following him. He kept telling Carlotta, "Carlotta, give Anita some milk. Carlotta, Carlotta, give Anita some milk." So Carlotta came all the way with him down the hill. She came to Juanita's house and quickly his mother milked the goat and she gave the milk to Anita. And Antonia took Carlotta back to the hill and left her in the farm. You know what they do to the goats? They tie up the front leg and the back legs together with a rope. You know why they do that? Because these goats should not wander away from the farm. And even if they do, they can't go very far with their legs tied. Imagine somebody tying up your legs and telling you to walk. How would it be? Exactly the same the goats feel. They can't go anywhere. They go hopping, hopping, hopping. So now Juanita knew where to get the milk. So every day he would pluck 2 pieces of corn from the garden and he would go up the hill and he would give 1 corn to Carlotta and tell her, "Carlotta, Carlotta, give Anita some milk. Carlotta, Carlotta, come down, give Anita some milk." And Carlotta would follow this boy. He would bring the goat home. His mama would milk the goat and give Anita the milk. And Carlotta will immediately go back to the hill. And Juanita will see that she goes back safely to the farm. But was that a good idea? No. One day, Antonio's wife said, "You know what, Antonio? This Carlotta is not giving me enough milk. So I think something is wrong with her. You should get her checked by a vet." So Antonia thought for some time and said, "Oh no, lady. The other day I saw Carlotta wandering inside the town. She was on the narrow alley. So I'm tying up her legs even more tighter. So probably she's not feeding properly. That's why she's not giving us enough milk." So Antonio's wife said, "First go and let her loose. Let her wander a little more. Poor thing is not getting enough food." So Antonia went to the farm. He opened out the gates. He went in and tried removing Carlotta's leg rope. They tied the low rope, no? The front leg and the back leg was tied together. So he wanted to remove it and make it a little more wider so that Carlotta can walk a little more comfortably, hop around a little more comfortably. Just as he removed the rope, he realized the rope was not big enough. So he had to go inside his house to get a bigger rope. So when he went inside, what did Carlotta do? She saw a chance to escape. She quickly jumped up, went hopping, and said, "Meh, meh, meh, meh." And she went and climbed a small, steep hill and stood on top. And it was so high. If anything had happened, she would have fallen down. That's all. She would have got badly hurt. So Antonio came out and started looking for Carlotta. He looked here and there, but no sign of Carlotta. Then he saw Carlotta up the steep hill on a ledge. And any kind of action Antonio does, Carlotta might get scared and fall down. So he didn't want to do that. He hid behind the ledge and he was thinking, how do I distract Carlotta? Just then Juanita came there. And Antonio saw Juanita and said, "Hey lad, my goat Carlotta is standing on the ledge. She might fall down. We need to distract her without making a noise." So Antonio was wondering how he can do it. And Juanita knew what to do. So he went to the side of the ledge and said, "Carlotta, Carlotta, come give Anita some milk. Carlotta, Carlotta, come give Anita some milk." And immediately what did Carlotta do? She slowly slid down the ledge and she came near Juanita. And Antonio was so surprised. He asked Juanita, "How did you make this goat listen to you? I have so many goats, but nobody listens to me. How did you manage this?" So Juanita had to tell the truth now. It's not good to tell lies. So Juanita said, "I have a little sister who did not have any milk to drink. So every day I would come up here and call Carlotta, and she would come down and give us some milk and go back. So that is how Carlotta likes me, and I always give her some sweet corn to eat." So Antonio thought for some time. He was a little angry. How could this little boy cheat him like this? But then Antonio was a very kind man. He told Juanita, "Juanita, anyway, my wife thinks this goat is not giving enough milk. So you don't have to climb up the hill every day. You can take Carlotta to your house and you can keep her there as your own goat. That is the gift I give to you for your sister Anita." So Juanita was so happy. And Antonio had no children, so he felt very sorry for these two kids. So Juanita brought Carlotta home and he tied up Carlotta in outside his house. He gave her a lot of yummy food to eat. And in turn, what did Carlotta do? She gave lots of milk. So that milk would feed Anita, as well as his mother would sell some milk and make some money. And they all lived happily ever after.